What's up, Gemini Collective? Thank you for joining me for your role opener reading. My name is Keita. If it's your first time joining me, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I have pulled some cards for you guys and also done bibliomancy to identify the crystal that you should be working with to help you open a block road for you, so that you can be more intentional and aware of where there may be some energetic blockages and how to get through it. So what I've discovered is that the thing that's blocking or has the potential to block a road for you guys, because what I'm seeing is the road's not actually blocked. There's just a potential for the road to be blocked in this situation. And it's because somebody's being led to like take a leap of faith and be more lighthearted and playful when it comes to love in general or a love connection. And I just keep hearing, I'm not trying to look stupid out here. I'm not trying to be played for a fool or look stupid. And so having had different experiences where you've left those experiences feeling like somebody played you for a fool, feeling like your kindness was taken for weakness, I can see how a person may now have that fear or that be an anxiety when it comes to approaching love and love connections. But what we're being led to do is to transmute that energy, because for many of you, you're in a situation, regardless of what it looks like, it's safe. It's safe for you to love. It's safe to be in love. But you're needing to take a different approach, one that isn't so guarded, and also to govern yourself accordingly in this situation as it relates to reciprocity in the connection. So when it comes to the potential for a block road, because this ain't a block, but the potential for a block road, you literally got the Fool and the Lover archetype that came out. Like both of these cards came out face down. So it says fearlessly, the light attribute of the Fool is to fearlessly reveal emotions and helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. The Fool energy can be similar to that of like a court jester or a clown, and nobody wants to be made a fool of. Nobody wants to be looked at like a clown, especially if it's because you put your heart out there. You know what I'm saying? In the shadow aspect, the Fool is using humor to wound rather than liberate, and it's the denial of one's emotional truth. So for many of us, we're being led to be forthcoming with how we feel and take that leap of faith. You know, the Fool in the tarot is the 0 point. It's the number 0 card in the tarot, because it is from that energy that all things manifest, at that point where there's no necessarily, like not necessarily any emotion, but there's that faith needed to pack light and take that leap of faith and surrender your will to God's will, and that being the thing that motivates you to take the jump, to take that leap. Just saw 411. So we got this Fool energy, and that it points, when it's in its shadow state, to being a fool when you deny how you feel, when you deny your emotional truth. And I know that this is about a love relationship of some kind, because it's coupled with the Lovers. And this Lover image is of a woman who is holding a heart. Notice that there's not two counterparts in this card. There's only one person. Whereas in some of these cards, you'll see two individuals, right? But it don't take having another person in the picture to be a lover. You just need to embody love. You need to love on yourself. You need to love the divine. You need to, in order to be considered a lover, you just gotta love. You gotta vibrate and align with the frequency of love and not be afraid to love. And child, listen, I'm 40 years old. And at this point on the journey, I done put my heart on the line a zillion and two damn times. Now, I ain't had like a butt ton of serious relationships with somebody who I would call a boyfriend. In my adult life, I may have had 3 or 4. But on some real shit, like probably 4 or 5. But anyway, some of them worth forgetting. But on some real shit, like, one is good enough to feel like if it didn't work out, you put your heart on the line, it left you so scarred and wounded and hurt and disappointed that you're afraid to put your heart out there again, or to just be a loving person and embody and embrace the energy of love again. But that's what we're here for. That is what being Christ-like looks like. That's what being in Christ consciousness look like, to love and to love unconditionally. So somebody is being called to not allow that whole being afraid to look like a clown or being made a fool of to block being a lover, whether that involves somebody else or not. Just embodying that frequency of love in a world where people thriving off of, or they think they're thriving, but they're really just surviving off of hate, right? Where it's cool and cute to hate. It's cool and cute to video fights and deaths and all the shit that is bred of hate is what gets the most attention and acclaim. Like, no, we're set apart. We're different. We're lovers. You know what I'm saying? In essence, just saw 7-Eleven. So for many of you, that's what your sacred journey is looking like. Being taught to love, releasing karmic attachments and influences, whether they be in this lifetime or past lifetimes, or karmic patterns, anxiety and fear, and people who have contributed to that block between you being feeling safe to love. I was just telling somebody the other day how when I reflect on 2024, one of the main themes, and hell, it may have been the main theme for 2023 too, but it's like I deepened it in 2024, is that how important it is for people to be a safe space for me. Like, safety is so high on the hierarchy, but it is for all humans. Check out Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Bruh didn't lie. Safety is a human need, and so I've been identifying where the many areas and ways I have to feel safe. It ain't just about physical safety, even though that's important. I need to feel emotionally safe. And that means I'm around people who I can be vulnerable with and share my truths with, and not feel like I'm going to be attacked or ignored or abandoned and neglected. I need to feel financially safe, like my needs are taken care of, which is my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? But there's just so many ways where I need to feel safe. I need to feel spiritually safe. I need to feel safe to cultivate my relationship with the divine without anybody's chatter and input, because ultimately it's none of your motherfucking business with my relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't hurting nobody, whatever my relationship with the divine is just that. And I need the room and space to pour into, invest in, cultivate that. But see, that's an everyday, all day thing for me. I ain't one of them people who I connect with God during prayer and when I go to church. Now, it's from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. It's when I'm on some ratchet shit and when I'm helping somebody to heal. You know what I'm saying? All things in between. Like, that is what doing your light work and your shadow work looks like, and integrating the two, to where you ain't got to put on no mask and tap in with God at a certain time of day. You are God, and you move in this world as an expression of God, and you do things that God leads you to do, right? And ultimately, God is leading us to love. The shadow aspect of the lover archetype is an obsessive passion that harms others and self-destructive devotion. If you are aligned with anything that is self-destruction, that's not self-loving, that is if you're aligned with anything that is not that is self-destructive, it's not self-loving. And that just makes all the sense in the world. I just can't get the shit out for whatever reason. But also, if you have an obsessive passion that harms others, so like for people who is fuck love, they just operate off of lust, that is the shadow archetype of the lover. That is someone who's afraid to tap into their heart space and feel, which is a part of the human experience. So we're being called to move from that to a father archetype. And the father archetype in its light attribute is the talent for creating and supporting life, positive, and to be a positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So even if you're not being called to be a father to a child in this world, whether you're masculine or feminine, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. That father energy is that masculine energy of taking action and applying logic and providing and protecting and things of that nature, right? And so in any kind of tribal unit, you could be a father. This could speak to you developing a mentorship group or some kind of a service to the community, actually being a father within your family unit. For many of you, you're being prepared to be actual fathers in your 3D reality. And even if you are feminine, ask some of these single mothers how it's possible to tap into the father archetype even when you are a dominant feminine energy, because that's when that mother takes that action towards providing for and protecting that child. You know what I'm saying? So people could talk their ass off about how a mother can't be a father. Yeah, her capacity may be a little limited because she hasn't, well, a lot limited because she's not a man, and so she's not living the full masculine experience. And in that way, I agree. But we have the capacity to transcend those lines and tap into masculine and feminine energy regardless of our dominant energy. And so in that way, women can tap into the father energy to impart some fatherly energy into their relationships with their kids or whatever the dynamic is. So in the shadow attribute of the father aspect, there's a dictatorial control and abuse of authority, which is the bulk of the patriarchy. It's the bulk of the masculine energy that you see. Hell, you even see it not just in men, but you see it in lesbian relationships where with the partner who is the most masculinely dominant, that person assumes that because they're the masculine energy in that situation, they have to model patriarchal examples of masculinity and be dictatorial and abuse their power. So that's something to consider. Which side of the spectrum are you on? And just know that that is in large part bred from not wanting to look like a clown. It's like that song says, I wonder if the lyrics to this song are pertinent. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby. It's an old song. Everybody plays the fool. Lyrics. By the main ingredient. Okay, so your heart is broken. You sit around moping, crying and crying, and you say you're even thinking about dying. Well, before you do anything rash, dig this. Everybody plays the fool sometime. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby, it may be factual, may be cruel. I ain't lying. Everybody plays the fool. Falling in love is such an easy thing to do. And there's no guarantee that the one you love is gonna love you. That's that part that speaks to that part I was saying about this woman in this image, where it's like, it don't gotta be two people involved for you to love. You could love somebody and they don't love you back. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to involve two parties. A certain person could never be, love and eyes they cannot see. A certain person could never be. Love runs deeper than any ocean. You can cloud your mind with emotion. Everybody plays the fool sometime. And then it says that part over and over. How can you help it when the music starts to play and your ability to reason is swept away? Oh, heaven on earth is all you see. You're out of touch with reality. And now you cry, but when you do, next time around, someone cries for you. Then that's the hook. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. And then at the end it says, everybody plays the fool sometimes. They use your heart just like a tool. For you guys, knowing this knowledge and not allowing it to deter you is the main ingredient. And that's the name of the group that sings this song. This is the main ingredient for you keeping this road open, keeping yourself vibing high, faithful, hopeful, and ultimately loving, because you are on the brink of true love, and your blessings financially and otherwise are tied to you vibrating from this loving frequency. So when I asked, why is this an issue? Like, why is there this potential for moving from this lover energy, having the courage to love, because that's what it is, surrendering to love, or even being somewhat of a fool for love, but in a healthy sense. A fool meaning taking a leap of faith, not a fool meaning you dishonoring yourself to love. Don't you ever go tell nobody I said to be out here looking stupid and letting the motherfucker treat you any ass way for the sake of love, because I'm not an advocate for that. But this is something that has to be nurtured. It's not time. I always say the seed does not bloom the day that you plant it. So this is something that has possibly been in the works over time, and it's still in the works. But this year you will see it emerge, because you have Gaia at the top of the deck, which is a very nurturing, motherly empress energy. So you got this father energy here of which is like the emperor energy, and then with Gaia you got this nurturing, motherly empress energy showing up, whereas the father energy would be that of the emperor. I'm gonna get my words right today. So this is something that through your nurturance, through your divine feminine energy, again, whether you're a masculine or a feminine, tapping more into your feminine energy, investing in and nurturing this situation, and not worrying about whatever fears may come up for you that are triggered for you as it relates to this connection. Something new is going to emerge with this dragonfly energy at the bottom of the deck. Emergence. That's when that seed has sprouted and starts to break ground and starts to show itself in your 3D reality. So a new love is emerging for many of you. And the thing that you're needing to surrender or surrender to is to receive and support love. You got two bears here sharing love with one another. And it says, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. I can't get the card off tape. I can't wait to take these damn nails off. There's nurturance again. So make sure that you are nurturing yourself. Make sure that when it's appropriate, when you feel led, when it's healthy to nurture a possible potential love situation, it ain't gotta be a a counterpart, like a sexual connection or romantic connection. It could be with your friends and your family, just those relationships you deem important to you, a priority to you. Make sure that you're pouring into them, and make sure that you're investing in situations that are reciprocal, and invest in you, and make sure that you don't allow those blocks to keep you from giving or receiving, because you deserve love as well. It's like you're not meant to just keep pouring into other people and not be poured into in return. And then at the bottom of the deck, you have surrender to wonder and all. Something dope as fuck as it relates to love in you all's lives is manifesting. But you can't allow your shadows and your fear and lack consciousness to block the blessing. So it would behoove you all to have a strong crown chakra, third eye connection. So work on your upper chakras, all of your chakras, really. Because you want to make sure that you're rooted and grounded, and that you feel safe and secure, and that you're confident, and you're open to intimacy, which would be your lower chakras. And then you also want to make sure that you stay tapped in and tuned in to the directives of the divine as you move forward in these connections, and take your directions from your team alike. But surrender to wonder and all, because it's coming in. If you follow these steps, if you do these things, you're nurturing yourself, you're nurturing your connections, you're taking a more lighthearted approach, and open to connecting with the tapping into this father energy somehow. The seed is going to sprout, because you've poured into it, you've cultivated it, you've nurtured it, you've cared for it, and it's going to emerge. You're giving this love power, which is the card underneath Dragonfly, emergence. Like, you're literally giving life to a new love. And with surrender to wonder and awe, it says open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. This is something that when it manifests, it's gonna blow your mind, and you have yourself and the divine to thank for it, because you will find that you made a worthy investment. But there's this potential to block this road if you allow those fears to come in and ultimately have you in your shadow and not nurturing this situation or yourself, right? So the crystal prescription that I identified for you guys using bibliomancy is rhodochrosite. And rhodochrosite's keywords are emotional healing, recovery of lost memories and forgotten gifts, self-love, and compassion. So for many of you, this is like some soul retrieval. Like you're calling in gifts and talents from past lives. And for some of you, like this, the fear of loving is the result of some trauma and things that you went through in a past life, or in your childhood, or as a teenager, or as in early adulthood, or hell 2 years ago, who knows. But it's like those things that blocked your heart, they also block the flow of your gifts and talents and your charisma and your personality and your skills to come forward as well. It's like some of y'all might have been like super flirtatious and seductive, but because of things that you've experienced, you now are like, yeah, no, I'm not putting myself out there like that no more, because somebody made a fool of me and look what happened. You know what I'm saying? You're getting all of that back. You're calling that shit back into you. So that's dope. If it's emotional healing that's been blocking you from showing up as this as a lover, that is being healed as you continue to nurture yourself. Self-love. Can't express that enough. It's about you first and foremost. Your cup needs to be running over before you give of your overflow to another. And compassion. If you are connected with somebody who's learning to love, you're needing to show them compassion, because guess what? You are too. You learning too. Y'all might be at different stages, you know what I'm saying? You may be on the 5th stage while they on the 2nd or the 3rd or hell the 1st. But how dare you judge them when y'all both in earth school, learning to love, learning what it is to walk in Christ consciousness, especially if you come from a community or a family or a dynamic where you've been taught that Christ is something outside of you, and that love looks like being selfless instead of self-full. So it's all a learning process, and we're needing to have compassion with and for one another. Rhodochrosite is associated with fire and water, and it's associated with the heart chakra and the solar plexus. I'm going to share with y'all some information from this book. Rhodochrosite is a powerful heart healer, forming a bridge between the lower chakras of fire and the upper chakras of water. Because of its relationship to both elements, it has the capacity to cool emotional heat and provide insight into issues of the heart and will. The vibration of rhodochrosite aids in healing emotional wounds. Its frequencies resonate with the child within, allowing one to recover one's sense of playfulness and joy in life. So you slick being called to love like you've never been hurt before. Ain't no slick, you are. You being called to love like you've never been hurt before. Like how you love that person that you crushed on at first when you were a kid, or your first boyfriend or girlfriend. How you loved them before you had ever experienced hurt. Your team of light and the divine is leading us to heal in a way where we like literally wiping the slate clean, so that we don't take that shit out on the next person. You know what I'm saying? So we do have a chance at true love and have a better chance of fulfilling our divine missions with one another. Through its healing energies, we are enabled to reclaim innate talents and abilities that have been left behind because of past traumas or emotional wounds. Rhodochrosite carries the frequency of the courageous heart. It encourages one to take action on one's heart knowledge without fear. It aids in expressing love and affection and in releasing perceived slights or hurts. Sometimes we take offense to things that people do because we are projecting from our own wounding and trauma, and they actually didn't mean no harm, or they actually got other shit going on themselves. You know what I'm saying? And it just takes being compassionate, being willing to hear them out, being willing to forgive, being willing to see things from their perspective, and not being so quick to cut them off or shoot them down. And coming from me, that's a huge fucking piece of advice, because I'm that girl. Like, it take me a minute to cut people off, but when I do, goddamn, you is cut. But I'm working on it. So it says, trying to find where I left out. It lends fortitude. It lends fortitude to those who fear taking action or expressing their emotions. It helps one find the courage to pursue one's dream. Spiritually, rhodochrosite helps one rediscover the sacred practice of play. A lot of people don't even consider play a sacred practice, and it's so important that we remain like youthful and playful and hold on to some of our childhood innocence, or regain that childhood innocence that so much of life experience has taken away from us. And for a long time we didn't know we could get that back, but that just speaks to how much power the divine has given us as human beings, because we are gods. And it's now time for us to tap into that, to tap into those many gifts and capabilities that we have as God. It stimulates creativity and expression and helps one align to the frequency of love. Emotionally, rhodochrosite is the foremost ally in healing the inner child, especially where deep emotional traumas have left one unable to feel joy or express one's creativity. It can help one feel more confident in using one's will to create one's reality. Physically, rhodochrosite is ideal for the nervous system imbalances. It offers energetic healing for the myelin sheath that covers and protects the nerves, and can be a great aid in withdrawal from caffeine and other stimulants. It is an excellent anti-anxiety and anti-stress stone. For many of you, it's that anxiety that's keeping you from being able to tap into this lover energy and align with this love frequency. So if you're taking pre-workouts, stuff that's high in caffeine, you may want to wean yourself off of it, or leave it alone altogether, because that is contributing to your anxiety. I'm a witness to how that shit works. And it does help to just cut it out when you already got shit that you're nervous about, or that you have some sense of anxiety about, because that caffeine just makes it like 10 times worse. With compassion for myself, this is the affirmation for the stone. With compassion for myself and others, I engage the process healing from past wounds, and I embrace with joy the recovery of my wholeness. Full transparency, that's something that I'm working on as well. Like, recovering parts of myself that have been lost over time. So I work with like shamanic journeying and soul retrieval, and I'm really like studying things of that nature, because I want everything that the locust has stolen. When I said that shit for the first time here on the platform, I meant that. And I don't mean just in this lifetime. I mean throughout my entire Akashic records. Every lifetime, every dimension, every frequency, every realm. If it would benefit me in this lifetime, let me get that. Run me that. And there are alchemical ways to go about it, and so I am learning them, and I am actively doing them. So whether it's relative to love or sex or money, or like your finances and how you view finances, if there may be a block there from a past life or something generational, mentally, like whatever it is, whatever spiritual gifts, I'm calling it all back. I pray the same for you all, and I hope this message found you well. If it did not find you well, I hope that it leaves you well. If you are needing a personal reading, feel free to email me at turquoisemajesty@gmail.com, and I'll send you my price list. If you like the video, make sure to click that like button. Leave your comments down below in the comment section should something that I said have resonated with you, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you'd like to donate, that information is in the description box as well. But until next time, y'all, peace.